The deprogramming. Before you build wealth, you have to unlearn what you were taught money is for. Most people were raised with one financial instruction: earn, spend, survive. Money comes in, money goes out, and the goal is making sure more comes in than goes out. That's the full curriculum, and it produces people who are good at working, but have no idea how to make money work for them. Do you believe investing is only for rich people? That debt is just a normal part of life? That a steady paycheck equals financial security? These aren't personal failures. They're programming. Installed early, repeated often, and almost never questioned because everyone around you had the same code running. Wealth building doesn't start with a budget or an investment account. It starts the moment you realize the financial instincts you were raised with were designed to produce workers, not owners. You cannot build something new on a foundation you've never examined. The deprogramming is the foundation. The honest number. Most people have never looked at their actual financial reality without flinching. They know roughly what they earn. They have a vague sense of what they spend. But the precise, uncomfortable number, the one showing exactly where every dollar goes and exactly what their net worth is, most people avoid that number for years. Because looking at it makes it real. Calculate your net worth. Everything you own minus everything you owe. For most people in their 20s and 30s, this number is zero, near zero, or negative. Seeing it creates one of two responses: paralysis or clarity. The people who build wealth choose clarity. They look at the number not as a verdict on their worth as a person, but as a starting coordinate. You cannot navigate toward a destination without knowing where you currently are. Your net worth right now is not your ceiling. It's your starting point. But you have to be willing to look at it first. The emergency wall. This is the least exciting stage. It's also the one most people skip, and exactly why most people's financial progress collapses the moment anything goes wrong. 3 to 6 months of living expenses, sitting in a liquid account, doing nothing. Not invested. Not working. Just existing as a buffer between your financial plan and the random disasters life will deliver. Car breaks down. Medical bill arrives. Job ends. These aren't hypothetical. They're scheduled. Not in time, but in certainty. Something will go wrong. The only question is whether you'll have cash to absorb it or respond by taking on debt. Most people take on debt, and that debt becomes the weight that prevents every subsequent financial move from gaining traction. Every time they start building, something breaks the cycle. The emergency wall breaks that pattern. It won't compound. It earns almost nothing. But it is the difference between a financial plan that survives real life and one that collapses at the first disruption. Boring is the point. The most important boring thing you'll ever build. The debt reckoning. High-interest consumer debt is not a neutral financial tool. It is a mechanism that transfers wealth from you to the institution that issued it. Every month you carry a balance on a card charging 20% interest. You are paying someone else to own a piece of your future. The debt reckoning is when you stop normalizing this. Most people treat consumer debt like weather, something to manage rather than eliminate. They make minimum payments. They feel vaguely guilty. They tell themselves they'll deal with it when they earn more. And they carry that weight for years while wondering why they can't get ahead. The method matters less than the decision. To treat debt elimination as urgent, non-negotiable, and immediate rather than a background inconvenience. Every dollar sent toward high-interest debt earns you a guaranteed return equal to the interest rate. There is no investment more reliable than eliminating a 22% APR. The first investment. This stage terrifies people far longer than it should. Because the financial world has done an extraordinary job of making investing seem like it requires sophistication, timing, and significant starting capital. None of that is true. The first investment is not about finding the right stock or timing the market. It is about beginning the process of making your money generate money as early as possible, as consistently as possible, in the most boring, reliable vehicle available. For most people, that means an index fund. Low fees. No stock picking. No timing decisions. Just consistent, automatic contributions to a diversified position that rises with the economy over decades. The reason this works is compounding. A dollar invested at 25 is worth more than 4 times what a dollar invested at 35 will become by retirement. Not because of genius, because of time. The best investment strategy for most people is not sophisticated. It is consistent. The biggest mistake is not a bad investment. It is waiting to start. The compounding silence. This is the stage nobody warns you about. and it breaks most people's commitment before the results arrive. You invest consistently for months, then a year, then two, and the growth feels invisible. The numbers move, but not dramatically. You watch other people make fast money and wonder if your slow, boring approach is simply wrong. It isn't wrong. It's early. Compounding doesn't announce itself. It accumulates quietly until a threshold is crossed, then accelerates in ways that feel disproportionate to what you put in. The last 10 years of a 30-year journey produce more growth than the first 20 combined. The people who fail here don't fail because of bad strategy. They fail because they make changes during the silence. They panic when markets fall. They redirect money toward faster-looking options. They interpret the absence of dramatic results as evidence the approach isn't working. Patience in investing isn't passive. It's the hardest active choice you'll make, repeatedly. The identity shift. This is the stage almost no financial content addresses, and it is quietly the most important one. At some point in building real wealth, the external strategy becomes less limiting than the internal identity. The person who grew up without money, who was taught that wealth is for other kinds of people, will find ways to self-sabotage at every stage unless the identity underneath the strategy changes. This looks different for different people. A sudden large expense that appears whenever savings reach a certain level. Reluctance to charge what you're actually worth. Guilt that arrives when financial progress happens while people you love are still struggling. An unconscious belief that staying wealthy requires a kind of person you're not sure you are. Wealth building is not purely a financial project. It is a psychological one. The people who complete it aren't always the ones with the best strategy or highest income. They're the ones who did the internal work alongside the external, who interrogated their relationship with money deeply enough to stop undermining their own progress. The strategy is the vehicle. The identity is the driver. You can have a perfect vehicle with the wrong driver and go nowhere. These 7 stages are not a guarantee. They are a sequence. And sequences matter because doing the right thing in the wrong order produces the wrong result. Most people never build real wealth not because they lack intelligence, opportunity, or discipline. They lack the map. You now have it. What you do with it is the only stage. That was never on this list. Because that one was always entirely up to you.